that, what I would like to do is I have a little bit of homework for you. And it's not really homework because I'm going to wait while you do this. We are giving away, or I should say, we're donating one meal to, or we're feeding one child in need for every registration within our student hub. And don't worry if you're not in formal education right now. I kind of look at this, I kind of look at life as being a journey of lifelong learning. I'm a student, even though I've been in my career for a long time. So this is a platform that I have responsibility over within the world of IBM. It is a skill building platform and much more. You have an opportunity to win t-shirts and other prizes. You can learn new tech. You can boost your professional development skills and your entrepreneurial spirit. You will also learn about enterprise computing. So for those of you who may think, wow, I don't know if tech's for me, keep in mind that all of us, no matter what job you're going to have, we're all using technology in some way, shape, or form. And there's a lot of introductory stuff in here that talks about, gender inclusion, tech for good. We run hackathons and coding camps. We have a lot of special invite-only events that you can hear about on the hub. You can also have an opportunity to be featured in IBM videos and blogs, and there's a discussion tab where you can ask us anything. It's, again, ibm.biz/student hub. What you're going to do is you're going to fill out the information in the hub, which is your name, your email address. It's really straightforward. And then they're going to ask for a code once you validate your email address. Put that in, and it's going to then take you to a couple of, some terms and conditions. So you're going to want to scroll down, accept those, then it's going to ask you if you want to join the community. So you're going to click on join the community. And then what's going to happen is it's going to ask you about your preferences when it comes to hearing about events. You can click on whichever option you're most comfortable with. I personally like to get notified, every so often when, things are happening in the hub, because you know how it goes. It's easy to forget that all of the different platforms we have access to exist. I would encourage you to look through some of the blogs. I would encourage you to look through some of the videos. There's some learning journeys in there that help young people identify different jobs that are available within the world of IBM. One of the things that's not mentioned here is we are going to start recruitment for IBMC ambassadors. It's a leadership program. It's also something that helps you to boost your entrepreneurship skills, your tech skills, your professional development skills. You can win money. You can win cash prizes. You can win swag. It's called the Z Ambassador Program. It's not live yet, the application, but it will be within the next 2 weeks. If you're interested in further building your skills, come and check it out. So now let's talk about, what's an entrepreneur? We're going to find out. It's someone who creates a business or businesses of their own and takes on personal risk to do so. So it's someone who might have a startup. You might have a tech startup. You might have, an online shop. You might have an app. You might have something that's, not necessarily relating to technology. So one of the words that I used a bit ago was an intrapreneur. And, maybe some of you know what an intrapreneur is. For those of you who don't know, don't worry, we're going to find this out too. We're going to do it right now. It's someone who creates a new business or ventures or ideas, processes, new ways of doing things inside of someone else's company. So if you think about it, I'm a startup founder. I have my own nonprofit called Mentor Nations. We've taught tens of thousands of young people to code in 12 countries. We have a robotics lab, we have an IoT lab, a co-working space. It's all youth-led and youth-run. And we've taught tens of thousands of young people to code in 12 countries. So for me, that's my entrepreneur hat. I have another startup that's all about EdTech, but we'll talk about that another day. When I wear my IBM hat, I'm an intrapreneur. So I'm kind of like a mini CEO inside of IBM. I run what's called the IBM Hyper Protect Accelerator. So I have an opportunity to engage with thousands of entrepreneurs, CEOs, CTOs, and their staff all year round. And I've been doing this for quite a few years. Right now, I focus on fintech, health tech, and insurtech, provide mentorship, work to accelerate their businesses. These are all early stage startups, less than $1 million in revenue, less than 5 years old. I'm going to give you a link toward the end of the presentation, so that you can check out some of the different things that we do with our entrepreneurs. So if any of you have a startup, you might want to apply to the program. You can learn more information through what's called our Accelerator Hub. So lots of places to go, lots of things to do. So if you think about it, when I wear my Intrapreneur hat, I've created a new business venture. I've created new ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking about things that go beyond IBM's area of focus as of a couple of years ago. Some things that I created. I think outside of the box, or I think outside in. So bring in new perspectives, new ways of doing things. That's one of the things that is necessary when you think about being an intrapreneur. All right, so what's your jam? There's some common traits of an entrepreneur. Someone who's uncomfortable with uncertainty. You're okay accepting that, well, the future is sometimes unknown. It's always unknown. We don't know what's going to happen next. But you're cool with that. It's someone who has a vision for rethinking, reimagining, maybe even envisioning a future where the impossible becomes possible. So you recognize two very important elements in both your personal and professional life. We talked about this already, but you don't know the future. And you also know that you cannot predict the future. And you know what? You're cool with that. You enjoy taking on new challenges where, the future's unknown. Knowing how to handle uncertainty is super, super important. And how you handle it matters. For you, as an intrapreneur or an entrepreneur, you focus on what you can control. So things around you that you can impact directly, you know how to do it, you've got the secret sauce, you can control it. You control and shape the future, but you don't try too hard predicting it. Because, hey, many things could happen and you're okay with that. That said, you take actions to make progress against your goals, meaning you get stuff done. You've got a program manager hat that you wear, or a project manager, or a leadership or managerial role, but you also make sure that you're, completing tasks and getting things done. That said, as the future unfolds, you might course correct, you might pivot when necessary. And again, you're okay with that. You're looking at things and thinking, okay, that didn't work out so well, fine. Let me try a different way. You've mastered how to create what's called a business model canvas. For those of you who may not be familiar with the business model canvas, I'm going to give you an example of one right after this, but you can Google business model canvas and it'll be, there are quite a few different templates. I'll show you one that I, personally like, but there are many different versions of this. And it really stems from some lean startup methodologies that entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs use when they're thinking about describing their business model. So it looks something like this. It has your key partners, your activities, resources, that may be people, that may be, technology, it may be a lot of different things. So what are the things that you need to be able to get your job done and launch this business? It's your value proposition, meaning what value are you creating for your customers? This also helps you to identify and document, what are your key customer relationships? These boxes shouldn't have a whole ton of stuff. Think like 3 bullet points, straightforward, something that helps to align you on your business model, helps to align you on your company. Where are you going? How are you getting there? What are some of the key important things that people need to know and you need to know? What are the channels in which you're selling? Are you doing it, face to face? Are you doing it online? Do you have an app? What are your customer segments? So that's your demographics, maybe age, gender, ethnicity. It could be geography. It could also be, certain levels of experience or people who are interested in X, Y, and Z. You also want to document your cost structure and your revenue stream. So how much are you spending to be able to launch and maintain, evolve, and what kind of money are you bringing in? One important element, don't forget, you can make the world a better place and you can also bring in money. You can bring in revenue. So don't think that, if you come up with this really wonderful socially impactful or social good, concept or solution that solves a big wicked problem, you can make money at the same time. So think about that. All right. So you incorporate design thinking into all you do. We're going to talk about design thinking right after this for those of you who have heard the word but may not be familiar, with what design thinking is. It's talking to and with your audience to capture their insights. And by talking to them, talking with them, you understand their wants, their needs, their aspirations, pain points, and frustrations. And it can apply to more than just your customers. It can apply to your fans, your advocates, or your community members. And it can also apply to your team. It's super important to really have the voice of your audience incorporated into everything you do, the voice of your team, the voice of the customer. It's experimenting rapidly with empathy. So you're empathizing with your audience. You're being, as I mentioned, audience, customer, or people-centered. You also know your MVP. We're going to talk about what an MVP is right after this for those of you who are not familiar. But again, you know what your MVP is, and you're pivoting or changing course when necessary. And remember, you're okay with that because you like uncertainty. So an MVP is, it stands for minimum viable product. And, it's the minimum point of gaining revenue, market share, or some kind of market or customer footprint. So what's that, beta, if you will, of your product, of your service, of your app, of your website? It's the simplest version of your product or service that allows you to launch your new solution. It's really important to think about what goes into that MVP, because if you put too much stuff in your MVP, it's going to take you forever to launch. You might get distracted, and you might end up being everywhere and nowhere because you're too focused on all the bells and whistles of your app, for example, of your e-commerce site, of your store. What are all of the things that you want to provide to your customer, knowing that you're not going to want to do everything day one. You want to prioritize and you want to identify what are the key things that your customers need to spend money on your product or to choose you as a solution, to download your app, to walk into your store, whatever it is. So what else is in that secret sauce? You're comfortable with failure. You know what your passions are. You know what your strengths are. And don't be worried if you're not sure what your passion or your strength is. Be a learn-it-all. Be a lifelong learner. As I mentioned earlier, we're all students of life. So think about, what are the things that wake you up in the morning? One source of information that I personally like is the UN Sustainable Development Goals. You can find that at globalgoals.org. And these are the biggest, wickedest challenges of our time. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and solve a big world challenge. How do you boil that down into your own community, your own sphere of influence, your school, your university, those around you, your friends? What is that big thing you want to go solve? And, it has things like gender inclusion, digital inclusion, clean water, reduced inequalities, lots of different things that are, again, the biggest, wickedest challenges of our time. So is that it? No, we haven't finished everything. You thrive in ambiguity. You're okay with the unknown. You thrive in it. You like it. You like change. You actually seek it out. You think critically. You're a problem solver. And you're always innovating and, well, thinking outside in. You're breaking the mold. You're looking and recognizing that, the way that it's always been done doesn't mean that it's the right way or that that's what's necessary to, do a great job, to, launch your product, to run your company. You are big, bold, and you're full of ideas, but you make things happen. As I mentioned, you are a good project manager, program manager, or you have people around you who are helping you to get those things done. You're a creator, you're a maker, you're a doer, you're an innovator. Well, you also know how to prioritize, because if you don't, as I mentioned, you're going to end up everywhere and nowhere. You're going to chase after every shiny thing or every squirrel. That said, you take responsibility. You stand behind your goals and beliefs. You recognize what those are and you stay true to them. You know there's always a new way of doing things, and things can always be better. As I mentioned, you're an innovator. You're constantly looking at things through different lenses. And as you learn from your customers, you're, well, pivoting and changing. All right, let's keep going here. You have courage. You're not afraid of taking calculated risks based on reputable data, facts, and objectivity. You're not getting caught up in fake news. You're not getting caught up in media misinformation and disinformation. You're using solid data to make decisions. You're being objective. You're letting the data define, what are your risks, and you're okay taking some of those. In terms of your values, you value creativity, you value passion, and you value innovation. Now, what are the 5 P's of being an intrapreneur or entrepreneur? Persistence. You stick with things even though times are tough. Yeah, you continue to show up. You're patient. You're comfortable pivoting when failure arises. You got purpose. That means you've defined your vision, your mission, your goals, your objectives, and they're tied to getting things done. You're people centered. You think and act with empathy. I'm not saying that all, entrepreneurs do this. That said, it's something that all should be doing. You're empathetic with your customers, your team, your partners, and other collaborators. And, well, you're after making money. But again, don't forget that you can make the world a better place, and you can also gain access to revenue. It's often something that helps you expand your revenue opportunity, because people like things that make the world a better place. It feels good to know that you've got an ethical company with a conscience, if you will. So I want to thank you for taking part in this ISIC event. I want to thank ISIC and all of the organizers for having me today. So my question for you is, who's ready to be an innovator, a creator, a maker, and a doer? And now, are you ready to transform the world in which we live? Again, you can join us for more at ibm.biz/student hub. I mentioned that we also have an accelerator hub. I just realized I don't have the link in this presentation, but you can find it at ibm.biz/accelerator-hub. Thank you very much for taking part in my session today. I again wish you lots of luck at today's and the ISIC event. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Amazing. Hope that was insightful, I believe. Thank you so much, James and Zainab, for turning on your cameras for the entire time. It was lovely to see your faces. Beautiful faces, I should say. Amazing, amazing. um, okay. Yeah, we'll just do a small activity right now to check everybody's attention, like if everybody's over here. Okay. So you have the reaction feature in the bottom, right? So yes, no, maybe something. Yes, you have the, okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Zainab. Uh, so perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna number them. Okay. So clap is number 1, the thumbs up is number 2, the laugh is number 3. Again, the open mouth is number 4, the heart is number 5, and the celebration or tada is number 6. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna call out a number, and then you guys are gonna put in the respective reaction over there. Okay. Shrey ready? Nitish ready? Amazing, super. So let's go with number 3. Oh my God, no, number 3 is not hearts. Number 3 is smiley, laugh. Yeah, amazing, amazing. You guys are quite active right now. Um, let's go with number 6. Yay. Okay. Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's go with number two. Superb, superb, amazing, amazing. And finally, let's end with number five. Amazing. Love you all. Love you all. You're doing a wonderful job, I should say. So, yeah. So, we'll just dive right in. Thank you so much for participating in that activity. It actually gave me a sense that you guys are all active and listening to me. Very beautiful. So we'll just move ahead into the activity. For the next 20 minutes, what we'll do is that you guys are quite aware of the business canvas model, right? That was also explained in the video, like in the session. So I'm just dropping a link over here. Where did the link go? Okay, yes, perfect. So I'm just dropping a link over here. So you guys will be put into breakout rooms, 3 breakout rooms each depending on your team, and then just go through, the business canvas model. So this is actually a resource in itself. This has a template of a business canvas model, and it has got a resource. Like if you do not understand, you can refer to those resources. And I want you to create a business canvas model on any product, or else if you want me to give you a product, I can give you three very amazing products, which is Netflix. I can give you Netflix, Amazon, and I can give you Facebook. So the reason I chose Netflix, Amazon, and Facebook was that you guys understand and use it on a daily basis. So you will be able to create a business model very, very easily. I wanted to give you absurd products like, shirtless buttons, strapless watches, so that you can innovate on the product itself. But then, okay, let's not make it too tough. Let's make it easier. So I chose Netflix, Amazon, and Facebook over here. So yeah, are we here? Let's go with number two. Are we okay? Number two. Superb, superb, amazing, amazing. So yeah, we will come back in 20-25 minutes. Perfect. So Shri, you can open out the breakout rooms now. James, that's okay. I can see that you're not done yet because a business canvas model actually takes a longer time. But we're tight and scheduled, but that's okay. You can still complete it later once the call is over. Yeah. So how are the breakout rooms? Give me a reaction. Like how did you guys enjoy? Like you have 6 reactions, right? Give me a reaction. How did you feel? Amazing, amazing. Ah, love. Thank you so much, Dareen. James, amazing, James. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed the session. I mean, the activity too, because you're getting real life practical experience, right? Because you're doing first hands-on experience. Like business canvas model is not something that we do every day, and you don't do it in school too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, we'll be wrapping up the session. And we already have our speakers onboarded. I mean, on this call, which is Carolina and Michael. We'll be beginning shortly in about 5-10 minutes. So I'll just take your leave, guys. Bye bye. Have a lovely learning experience. Yeah.
Josh, I sorry.